So you hate the lines this week, dude? I had my best week ever on the pick'ems. I got all but 2.
How did the rest of us do? Probably not well.
I have no idea, but I'm kind of livid because I missed the Colts game. I almost had them.
Oh yeah, that was a 1-point game too.
Mm-hmm.
I missed Minnesota, the Jets, the Bears, the Giants, Packers. Is that 5?
I missed 4.
Let's see. Yeah, but it's a good little run last week. I'm only 4 behind Deuce, but I have the same amount of misses as him somehow. And then there's D-Page, who he's 30 wins behind us, but only 10 losses behind us. So, Dan, you've missed like 50 games this season. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
This has not been, and my percentage is just downright atrocious.
Hey, look, it's okay. We got the Thanksgiving games coming up, and there's actually I think all of the games Thursday are great looking games. They should be fun.
I'm all for Tyler Bass kicking in Detroit again.
Tyler Bass. Dude, yeah, he kicked the shit out of the ball. What do you have, 20-something, 22?
23 points.
Yeah.
Man, might as well just be our fantasy team.
Yeah, I mean, only better one was Dallas's kicker, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he had 27.
Mom ears.
Yeah, boy. Mahar. But yeah, no, I mean, wild week, let me tell you. Had some good games, had some bad games, and had some fun games. Wow, it is very laggy today.
The Patriots game was crazy. Literally, you could have gone without watching the whole thing except the last 10 seconds.
Well, 10 seconds left. Why do you kick it not out of bounds? Like, come on.
I don't know. Ask Eagle fans when they punted to Deshaun Jackson.
I would never punt to Deshaun Jackson, ever. Him, Devin Hester, neither one of those are getting kicked to. You see Cordero took one back to the house?
Yeah, he broke. Didn't he break the return record? Cribs.
Yeah, he broke Cribs's, which is kind of crazy, to be honest.
The guy I was playing in fantasy in my other league this week had Cordero, and as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's about to freaking blow up the chat about why kickoff returns don't count for that player.
Wait, do they or do they not?
They don't.
Damn, I thought. Is it like? Is that the default?
It's league based. Some leagues do it. So like Sleeper, it counts defaulted.
Oh, okay.
And I
thought the default on ESPN was like it would go as a miscellaneous touchdown.
I didn't. Who has him in Sigma New League?
I don't even know.
I want to say
Trevor
or Trevor.
Nah, Jake.
That's who I would think would be.
They didn't. Yeah, ESPN doesn't count it. I guess
it said return touchdown. Jake literally got the points for it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, the fumble. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. NFL standard doesn't count it.
Yeah, so it depends on not only league, but
it's like one of those things that honestly, that's the first time this year.
Yeah, I mean it's once a year unless you have a crazy guy, but like you could run like Jamal Agnew and get a couple, but you're banking on that.
I feel like Cordero Patterson has been the only guy for since Devin Hester.
Dez did it a couple times, and I believe Antonio Brown had a couple.
Percy Harvin.
Yeah. So there's been some guys that are in your lineup that return them, but it's rare. Who's taking punt duties for other teams?
I don't know, man. I can't think anymore.
Not a lot.
Look at all the corners. Byron Murphy, CJ Broad. Devin Duvernay had one this year, didn't he? Or no?
Yeah, I think in the first game.
Doesn't look like a punt. I think he had a kickoff. So Devin Duvernay would be one. Braxton Berrios could be one if you're really deep. McCole Hardman's their return man. Khalif Raymond's the return man.
Who returns kicks for the Dolphins?
CD has 14 returns, but like, why do you have CD returning shit when you have?
He returned punts in college.
Yeah, but you have Kavontae Turpin.
Oh.
Oh no, this was last year. My apologies, guys. Devin Duvernay does have one this year. Jamison Crowder, Naheem Hines, McCole Hardman. Jarvis has returned a few for New Orleans. I'm trying to see who's. Devonta Smith has returned a few. Lockett has one return. Who is the return man for the Dolphins?
Should be Tyreek and
it's Javon Holland. Yeah. So Tyreek does have 2 returns, but they return 4 yards. So he just hadn't broken it yet. But yeah, so that was it. Some fun games, some big games this week. You know, trying to think if there's any. I mean, the Patriots game was big for the Patriots.
Oh yeah, the Jets could have been first in the division if they won that game.
Right, yeah. So it knocked them down. Wish the Eagles had lost. That would have been good. Dallas's win was huge for them. Rams are out of the playoffs with that loss, right?
I mean, all but formally.
I don't think it would have mattered one way or the other.
Atlanta holds on to hope. Let's see if there's any other big games.
Yeah, I feel like this was that week where you got I feel like you finally starting to get like a pretty decent playoff picture. Like you started.
The Titans game was pretty huge too.
Kind of made the first cut of like, all right, we know who's not making it now.
Yeah.
We already knew some people weren't going to make it, but I feel like this was kind of like that first big, like make or break, teams need to win to stay in the hunt kind of week.
The only thing I would add to that is the Chiefs created more separation from the Chargers, and the Commanders actually look pretty damn good, piling up some wins here. And they get Chase Young back this week. Could be something.
The 3 current wildcard teams are Dallas, the Giants, and the Commanders.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think the only reason that they all don't make it is because Seattle and like the Commanders and Giants still haven't played yet. So
yeah,
I guess maybe they could split.
If they split
and Seattle goes boo-boo, but
yeah. Because so other than Seattle, which is tied with Washington, you've got Atlanta, Detroit, Green Bay, which are all 2 games out of those 2 teams. So you could see all 4 NFC East teams in the play. I think that would be wild. Has that ever happened? Well, no, it couldn't. Yeah. We didn't have 3 wild cards.
There has been. I forgot that I heard it on TV. There was a time where all 4 teams from a division made the playoffs, but they said the year on TV, but I couldn't remember. I can't remember the year.
Is it before like division winners were automatic qualifiers?
It would have had to be.
I don't.
We've never seen 4 teams since the realignment. Let's see. Trying to think how it would be. So this is since the 2002 realignment. So it would have had to be before that. Woo! That would be wild though, you know?
Yeah, just skimming through it real quick. It's not saying a specific year. It's just saying since the realignment.
Yeah. That's crazy though. Because I mean, you're thinking
Is it top 8?
7, correct?
7, yeah, division winners and 3 wild cards.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. I mean, it's a very strong possibility, but I do see Seattle being able to hold out, and then with Denver and them playing each other, it's going to be kind of split.
Well, in the AFC, you have the
AFC is pretty tight. So AFC,
Dolphins, Pats, Jets, and
Patriots.
Wait, yeah, that's Buffalo.
But the Bengals have the edge on the Jets for that last wild card spot right now.
The Patriots have it as well.
Yeah, the 3 wild card teams are the Bills, Pats, and Bengals.
Yeah, but you could theoretically get all 3 of the AFC East and all 3 of the NFC East. Wouldn't that be wild?
Half the playoff field made up from 2 divisions.
You know, you're talking 8 teams of the 14. That's wild. I mean, the reason it never happens is they beat up on each other. But I mean, you've got some strong ones this year. But yeah, first game is going to be fun. It's going to be Detroit and Buffalo, which is it a home game for Buffalo now since they kind of own that stadium? I don't know. They played pretty well there. I thought it was wild. The amount of snow. Did you see the pictures that was actually on the stadium?
Yeah, it got up to 5 feet.
Yeah, that's crazy. That would have been fun to see them play in that, but like you can't, you know. So I think pretty easy. The Bills are going to be the team there. I don't think that's too hard of a matchup for them. But on the Detroit side, Jamal Williams looks great. Oh, he's muted too. He's like, wait, hold on. Yeah, no, on that side, I think Jamal Williams is starting to break out. He looks like he's taking over that backfield, even with Swift, because Swift had 4 carries, Jamal had 4 touchdowns. I know Dan was talking about it. Why not shut Swift down? You know,
they could.
But now they are. I guess they keep winning random games. They're technically in the playoff hunt. They haven't been eliminated yet, but like, I would wait. I would just shut my guys down, keep them healthy.
Well, even with Swift probably as healthy as he has been all year, like the success they've had with Williams, they're not going to switch back now. Why would they?
Yeah, he's playing great. They have not used a tight end really at all since losing TJ Hawkinson. Kind of sad to see him.
Brock Wright does have a touchdown though.
Yeah, he got one.
Because I thought of you guys when I saw it because we all made fun of him.
But yeah, I mean they haven't utilized any tight ends like they were with Hawkinson, so it looks like the receivers and Jamal are about the only thing there. Goff doesn't look that impressive still, but he did have 20-something points this week, so something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think for me, fantasy-wise, for this game actually is with the Lions' rush defense being as bad as it is,
Singletary.
And Singletary having double-digit carries the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, it looks like I mean, Zach Moss has been what? No, he was transferred, wasn't he? Didn't he get traded?
Yeah, he got traded.
So, and then James Cook has been.
Well, they brought in Hines, but
I think Cook had the most carries of the season though in this last game too.
Did he? Let's see.
I think he actually out produced like efficiency wise.
He had 11 carries for 86 yards.
Yeah.
Dang, it's actually pretty interesting. They rushed that ball a lot. I mean, they rushed more than they threw this week, which is
They need to. Well, they don't necessarily need to run more than they throw, but they need to establish a run game.
Well,
Yeah.
they're favored by 9.5, so the game script would lend to them being able to run the ball again.
right. You would hope. Yeah, because I think going into playoffs for this team, they need to establish a run game. If they can do that, they're going to be a scary team. But that's about the only thing they're lacking, and they need to get healthy on defense.
I'm curious, since you have it up, how many receptions did Cook have on top of those 11 carries?
0.
That's odd. I
Singletary
think Singletary had 2.
2.
Yeah.
Targets doesn't look like Cook got any targets.
That's so odd.
Yeah.
What's new with that backfield? Trying to guess what's happening.
Yeah.
I still think Singletary can. I think he's projected for 11.5 or 11.8. I think he'll go over that.
I could see him getting 13, 14, a touchdown and 60 yards, something like that.
So with Cook having like positive momentum, would you put flex consideration on both of them?
Only on Singletary. I think Cook had a decent game, but didn't he have a long run that accounted for? Yeah, 30-yard run and accounted for almost half of his yards. I think he's got some potential to improve, but I'm not flexing him.
Yeah, I think you would only if you're in a deeper league, like a 12-team league, and somebody's hurt.
No buys this week, right? Yeah. So
yeah, I think buys are done. Yeah.
I think there's some next week, right?
Yeah, 14, week 14. So not next week, the week after.
So there's none on week 12 because it's Thanksgiving, and then 13 is Panthers Arizona, and then 14 is a big 5 bye weeker.
Yep.
And then they're done.
Yeah, not to discredit what Cook did, but I would just have to see more. So I would go Singletary as well.
Yeah. I mean, you're thinking there's going to be what? 1 rushing touchdown, maybe 2. And if there's 2, you're thinking it's either Singletary or Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Cook's going to get the touchdown, and the volume's not. I mean, I don't want to have to rely on 80 yards to get 8 points.
If you need a running back, though, now would be the time to pick him up if he's available.
Yeah, I think he's stashable, but I do think there's probably better options out there. I'd have to look at the percent rostered, but I think there may be better options.
Yeah, and he has a track record of coming on at the end of the season too, like he did last year. So I think it's worth a shot. It kind of just depends.
Next game, really big game, probably the biggest game of the week, I would say. What the hell is that noise? Hold on, I'll be back. Biggest game of the week, Cowboys Giants.
Isn't the Cowboys game always the biggest game of the week for them?
America's team.
Like if we were on last week, you would have said that too, right? I couldn't.
I'm taking the Cowboys in this game. I don't know. I told Myers I have moved them to my contender tier after the game last week.
Sorry. Don't know what that was. No, I mean, it's just in terms of playoff implications, 2 teams 7-3 heading against each other, divisional rivals. I think
game, yeah, for sure.
It's probably the biggest game. I kind of skimmed through them, and I don't see any other ones that are, could end somebody's season, right? You could argue maybe Tennessee and Cincy.
I mean, this game's not going to end anybody's season.
I don't know. I mean, either one of these teams loses. They lose one more to the Eagles because they both have to play the Eagles one more time. And you're sitting at 7-5, 7-6, starting to get close to that bubble. So I think it's important for both of these teams to win. I know if the Giants lose, they have no shot of overseeding Dallas because of the tiebreakers. So I think it might be a little bit more important for the Giants than it is for Dallas.
Yeah, and it won't be easy without Wan'Dale.
Yeah, that was tough.
Especially because he was just starting to come on too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Cowboys will win, but I don't think it'll be by 9.5. It's hard for me to see by more than 9.5.
What was the previous one? Wasn't it?
What?
What did they beat them by in like week 4?
Yeah, I don't remember.
They beat them by 7 with Cooper Rush.
That's fine. I'll stick with my gut. I still think the Cowboys win though. So
yeah.
I actually think they probably cover here, just because of they've been clicking. The Giants have got a lot of injuries. The biggest thing for me for this game is for Dallas to get out of the game without injuries. But yeah, that's my big thing. Does it feel like every year the Giants go from a solid receiver room to nobody's playing?
No. I feel like they've had nobody for like the past 2 years.
Right, but the nobodies that are at the end of the season.
Oh yeah, they always are bound to lose like at least one or two guys.
I mean, last year they lost Shepard, they lost Galladay, they lost Tony got hurt last year, they lost Evan Ingram last year. I feel like 2 years ago you heard that they were playing random guys that didn't even have like contracts.
And then they had that 1 year. It's like I feel like that was where what's his name like broke out. Was when was it? Who was it? Was it Slayton?
Slayton's always had a good rapport with DJ.
Yeah, Darius Slayton.
Wasn't that him? Like, wasn't he like the 4th string receiver? Like after they lost all their other guys, and it's like, and then he just put up like monster games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was somebody else. Was it Kenny Galladay? No.
Galladay's hurt though a good bit, like probably a majority of the time.
Did you see the crowd? They exploded clapping when Galladay caught that first pass this week.
Only pass he's going to catch. He's going to drop one next week.
Yeah, even when the Giants had like A receivers, I mean, Odell and Victor Cruz were always getting – I mean, they were hurt too.
Right. So, and you wonder if it's this stadium, right? I mean, we've seen it year in and year out that turf field is just horrible. And I get that you got to have turf because it's outdoor and it's in damn New York and it's cold, but like, we got to protect the players. And then you look on the Jets side. I mean, how many guys have they lost to ACLs this year? Breece Hall's the big one, but I think they've got 4 or 5 guys that they've lost.
I think a good number of those 49ers injuries happened on MetLife.
Yeah, because the 49ers played MetLife back-to-back games, Jets then Giants. So it's like, I think it's time to kind of assess that. Players don't like it. And it's hurting people. So something to kind of look at. Giant-wise, are we concerned about Barkley? I know he had a pretty poor performance last week, and he's facing this Dallas defense that last week held the run pretty well. Is this a concerning game for Barkley? Is it a still fire him up, or is it, hey, I've got a flex that I can play in that I can sub in over him?
I mean, unless you're loaded, I think this is like that point of the year where like you just got to roll with your guys.
Yeah.
Especially because you probably took them in like the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round, right? I mean, the investment, you want to roll with who you took, whether it pans out or not. But I mean, I'm worried for the Giants from a pass rush standpoint, but they should be able to do like a decent amount of I feel like they can run the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, if the Cowboys get up early and they force them to pass, that's
Right.
different. And maybe there's some check down opportunities there that will preserve the floor for Barkley.
Yeah.
But I agree with Padge. I think you just got to take your chances here.
All right, so everybody went Dallas, right?
Yes.
Last one. This is a big one as well. New England versus Minnesota. This is kind of where New England needs to continue to win to stay in their hunt. Minnesota, they've got the first seed clinched, or their divisional clinched pretty much, but you don't want to see them lose too much. They're kind of fighting for that number one seed. Them and the Eagles. Would be very nice for them to get that because it makes a huge difference. So I think this is a big win game for them, but this Eagles defense is very good. So big game here. I think the Vikings would bounce back, but that New England defense has been pretty good.
Yeah, I think this is the most important game of the year for them, honestly, like with how badly they lost last game. And the strength of schedule is actually really similar to the Eagles' rest of the season schedule. I mean, the Vikings played the Jets, Lions, Colts, Giants, Packers, and Bears.
And that Bears team's not a joke either.
No, but I mean, it's not world beaters
either.
There aren't any world beaters there. So, and the Eagles have you could look up their strength of schedule has been pretty good for the whole year.
They have a decent strength of schedule. They do have a few matchups coming up. They get the Colts as well, just like the oh no, they beat the Colts this week. Sorry. They get Packers. Titans are a playoff team. Giants are a playoff team. Cowboys are a playoff team, and then Giants again. So, decent little matchup there. Mostly divisional for them. But I agree with you. I think Vikings need to kind of shut up or show up here. Say, hey, we are actually an 8-2 team, and beating the Patriots would be a good way to do it.
I think it all depends on how they get started. I know that seems like an obvious thing, but I feel like the Patriots can be ran on, but I think they have like the second most sacks in the league.
Yeah, I was going to say Matt Judon, whatever.
Judon and Wise, Dietrich Wise.
Judon leads the league in sacks, which is impressive.
Yeah, so.
Well, he may have gotten past this week. I'm not 100% sure. But he's had an incredible no, he still leads at 13. So Micah Parsons is right on his back at 12, and Bosa's got 10.5. So.
And I think the way the Vikings play defense, I think they could cause Mac to turn the ball over once or twice, which I feel like is all they'll need. So
yeah,
I'll go Vikes here, and to cover too. Mm-hmm. It's 2.5. So
yeah. Big guys. I mean, you're firing Dalvin up. I would say TJ Hawkinson is tight end 3 or 4 moving forward with the amount of targets and usage he's been getting. Especially with Pitts going down, Darren Waller being hurt. I mean, arguably it's Kelce clearly number 1, and just below him's probably Kittle and then Hawkinson.
Yeah, Mark Andrews coming back, so there. But I think that's your clear-cut top 4.
Yeah. And then Pat Freiermuth, number 5, baby. I'll drop a name drop. But, I mean, I think Jefferson, Hawkinson, Dalvin Cook, potential for the Thielen flex, and potential for the Kirk start, especially if you're a Fields owner and he's hurt. I don't mind a Kirk Cousins start. He's had a good season. He's not gonna get you 40, but he's not gonna get you. Well, I say he's not gonna get less than 10, but last week was
right.
And the 4 last week was pretty.
Never planned for a less than 10 game, and then it happens. So.
Yeah. Patriots side, I mean, Ramondre. We saw a little bit out of Damian Harris. I think he had like 8 or 9 points, but I still think it's Ramondre's field. Jacoby Myers has a little bit of value. That's about it there. I don't think I'm starting Mac. I don't think I'm starting anybody else. Start their defense. Hell yeah.
I mean, they're the number one defense, so you can't not start them.
Yeah. Are they 1 or 2?
One.
They were
Eagles are 3, Pats are 2, and Pats are 1, and I don't know who's 2.
Dallas was.
I think they still are.
Dallas is still 2, and Eagles are Pats are 1. Crazy, dude. And Philly is currently 3. Yeah.
Vikings are also horrible as far as like punt coverage, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was another special teams touchdown.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I mean, they have 2 already.
Yeah. No. That would be. It's been a good team if you have their defense. God, they've been cruising 10 points a game from a defense. Or 11-1. But yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings as well. Next game, Tampa Bay versus Cleveland. So Cleveland had a good-looking preseason, and everyone kind of thought they were primed to win the division. Deshaun not being back hurt them a little bit, but they look like they're pretty much out of it now. 3-7. It's nice having Amari Cooper because he gets peppered with targets. Chubb is still Chubb. One name I'd like to say, Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's had some good weeks over the last, 3-4 weeks. I think he's broken 10 every single week. So let me see.
It's like a quiet, under the radar name.
Yeah.
I think it's more so because they're trash than like
right. So since week 6, he's had 11, 11, 12, 15, 17.
He's been great on my bench.
Yeah. He got his first touchdown of the season this week. He was a top 15 wide receiver this week. Let's see what his he's only rostered in 57% of leagues. I think he should be a rosterable guy.
For sure.
You know, I think he's one of those that you should roster.
I think him and Nico Collins are very similar.
Yeah.
Like on bad passing offenses, they don't have a lot of touchdowns, but there's no reason why they shouldn't have a lot. They should have more than what they have. Like Donovan Peoples-Jones is 6'4". How does he only have 1 touchdown?
Right.
But I think that's why owners are skeptical. Like they're not sure if they're going to get the touchdown equity.
Hey, Pitts is done for the season, correct?
Yeah.
But I've been pleased with the Cleveland receivers. I wasn't sure how I was going to go with Brissett, but Cooper did really well. He had like 30 last week.
Yeah.
Peoples-Jones has been consistent.
Quick question, because we didn't cover him during the Buffalo game. Dawson Knox, do we have any happiness for him?
Pass bet.
No, let's say it's a coin flip.
What about Evan Ingram?
No.
Mike Gesicki?
Coin flip.
Logan Thomas?
I mean, he might be the best one out of that group.
Okay, last one. Jawan Johnson.
Somehow is putting up points.
Tight end 8.
I feel like he gets like 3 targets, but it's like for 70 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. So I have to get one of those guys.
If it was me, I would probably do Knox because it's the best offense. And although he's been a little slow to come on this year, we saw what he did last year. That connection's there with him and Allen.
Yeah.
I think there are 2 – I feel like Gesicki is just too touchdown dependent. I guess all tight ends are, but I would be fine with John. I would probably do Knox, Johnson.
That would be my 2 that I would.
Okay. So I have 3 bench spots because I lost 4 guys this week. What order should my claims be? Treylon Burks, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Dawson Knox.
Well, what other receivers you got?
I have Hopkins and Amon-Ra. I lost Mike Williams. I have Curtis Samuel and Christian Kirk.
Drop Curtis Samuel.
Dude, Curtis Samuel, once again, touchdown game. He's still top 20.
And
I have 3 empty bench spots.
and who's your tight end right now?
It was Kyle Pitts, but he's gone.
Knox has probably got to be your first one then.
Think so?
It depends because what other people may oversee him. I guess people could oversee DPJ too.
Right.
Yeah, I'd probably go Knox, Peoples-Jones.
See,
And then-
I was going to go Treylon Burks first.
If you're fine, I think he's probably got the most upside
Yeah.
of all those players.
Now, I did lose Joe Mixon with a concussion. Do I try to get Samanji Perine?
I would.
I would too, especially with how the crackdown on the concussion stuff has been. That's going from like
So we'll make
6 to
Samanji.
7 days to 10 days.
And if he were to have another one, probably looking at like 2 weeks.
So Samanji will be number 1, followed by Burks, followed by Knox, followed by DPJ, followed by Deshaun Watson.
It's a solid group.
I actually have 4 spots because I just dropped the kicker because I have Jason Myers, who I can sub back.
5 spots if you drop Curtis Samuel. So
Yeah. What a absolute nightmare of a week, though, having to replace 5 guys. 4 of them were starters.
I'd probably slide. If you're going to have it like that, I would probably do P. Ryan and Burks and then the tight end. Because if you don't end up with Knox, I feel like you're just as happy with Jawan Johnson.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got Piron, Burks, Knox, DPJ, Watson, Jawan Johnson.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I'm happy with all of those. Not really. My team looks so good, but I have no tight end.
Oh, whenever you could get the 3 of us to agree on something, it usually goes pretty well.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate that. I was looking at DPJ and then was like, shit, I need to do this while I have everybody. Buccaneers, Browns. So we talked about DPJ. Buccaneer side, Brady may make the playoffs at like 8-8 or 8-9 or whatever. And might run the gauntlet. I mean, that would be the most Brady thing of him to do. Scary team. Keep an eye out for him.
I'm taking the Bucs.
Yeah, the big thing here will be watching what happens with Leonard Fournette and
Rashad White.
Yeah, Rashad White.
Yeah, I don't think that Tampa Bay run defense isn't as good as it has been, but it's still good against a run-first team.
Yeah.
I'll take the Bucs too.
Bengals Titans. I think this is another big one. Bengals have firepower, but the Titans just find ways to win. They lean on Derrick Henry, and that's it.
They beat you the F up.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm picking the Bengals, but I think it would not shock me. Like, I'm picking the Bengals more because I want the Bengals to win than I think that they will win.
Yeah. Does Jamar Chase come back this week? Do we think he waits one more week? Is he coming back?
I don't think it's this week. I think it's next week.
Okay.
Because they won with that. I mean, if they had dropped last game, I think they'll wait till they drop again.
They still have plenty of receivers. I think Joe Burrow is a top 3 quarterback fantasy-wise every single week right now. Yeah.
I'm going to pick the Titans, especially because it's at home. I don't. I think the style of the fight here favors the Titans. I don't, especially without Joe Mixon. I don't really think the Bengals could counter with that toughness.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's a bad idea. I really don't. I think that's a solid idea.
And Tannehill is back, and at least you can say what you want about Tannehill, but he's a more reliable passer than Willis right now.
Yeah.
And
Treylon Burks is good too.
And the Titans got Jeff Simmons back in the middle of that D line, so yeah, I'll go Titans here. Who are you going with, Myers?
I think I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Damn.
I
wanted
wanted to go Titans. I really did. But since he's got a strong offensive line right up at the front, and I just think the offensive power of Cincy is going to outdo the Titans. I
think it's going to be who can, like, if Cincinnati can get out front quick, like if they can get up 10 or 14 before Henry gets going, then I think they're in a good spot. But if Tennessee gets the ball and they score on their opening possession and then they get the ball back again, it might not be good.
Yeah, it's just going to be who builds that first momentum. But for me, I can see, a T. Higgins long touchdown starts the momentum, and then the Bengals carry that on.
T. Higgins is also from Tennessee, so he's going to want to show out. Just saying.
Dolphins Texans, big game here for the Dolphins. The Texans, I mean, it's Dameon Pierce and Dameon Pierce only. Even Brandon Cooks just looks, and Nico Collins, they're there, but they're not fantasy relevant right now. Dameon Pierce is, but that's hard. I think teams are starting to realize that, all they're going to do is run it 30 times a game. That's it.
This is his first bad week this past week, which is kind of depressing, but
I'm not stressing if I'm an owner of him. I still think he's, the top rookie other than probably Ken Walker right now. But and I think he's a top tier running back based on just volume alone. So I'm not worried, but there's nobody else on Tennessee that I want to play. Miami, fire them up. It'll be interesting to see if JWJ or Raheem Mostert's the more carries this week. Both of them have good flex potential.
JWJ taking that role.
Probably.
I mean, I think you could fire. I mean, I'm sure you all agree, but I think you could fire any Dolphin up with confidence. I mean, even Gesicki this week.
Dolphins defense is probably the best streaming defense of the week.
Probably. I think Pierce can have a good game, but I don't think they'll be able to throw on those corners.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're talking Byron Jones, Xavier Howard. Yeah. Cool. Chicago and the Jets. Jets lost. Pretty rough one. Chicago also lost. The bigger question to me is not which of these teams will win. Is Justin Fields healthy?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys were watching it, but he took a bad hit to his hammy, and then he said he wasn't running anymore because of his hammy. And then about 4 or 5 plays later, he ran and took a hit to his shoulder. And then the very next play, he threw a pick. And it looked like he went up and it just hurt and he dropped the pick in. So
not that it's not important, but wasn't it his left shoulder that got dislocated?
Yeah.
Non-throwing shoulder.
That's at least silver lining.
Right.
And they said he's day-to-day, which is also good.
So day-to-day is good. It's something to watch. If I have another option, I'm probably throwing another option out there just for precautionary. I mean, most of the people that have Fields will probably have a secondary option that's a little bit lower, like a Kirk Cousins, a Geno Smith. I know
a little Derek Carr action, maybe.
Yeah, a little Derek Carr, something like that. I feel more confident in the non-injured player than I do the injured player, especially if he had hamstring problems and the shoulder problem. And obviously, it's not terrible hamstring problems, but I think they're going to be a little cautious with him. He's their
I
future
think he
quarterback.
sits regardless.
Yeah, and I think he's their future, right? So why risk your future in a 3-8 game against a team that doesn't matter? So keep an eye on it. If he sits, have a backup option now. That's the big thing.
They should sit him. It's at MetLife.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We know how injuries are there. I think regardless if he plays or not, I think the Jets win.
Yeah, I think the Jets have the win. I don't think that's an issue.
The question is Mike White playing quarterback for the Jets now?
Why would they go Mike White over Flacco though?
Flacco.
Or Flacco? I don't know, because Flacco's old.
Yeah, but Flacco was.
But he's a veteran and he did well in his opportunities.
Well, that's true. I guess you're trying to win. So
he has more experience than White.
I think he went 3-0. Did he not? 4-0.
I think it was 4-0 or 3-1. I mean, it was a winning record.
Yeah. Oh, it was a very winning record, and I want to say he was leading the league in passing yards when he. I know he was leading the league in passing yards through the first 2 games, for a fact. So
I mean, either way, you could bump up the Jets receivers now.
Yeah, and Conklin was tight end number 3 during the stretch with Joe Flacco. So
the only thing I'm not sure about is if Corey Davis is still out.
I don't know.
It's not huge, but it depends on, I guess, like for me, my comfortability playing. I think you play Garrett Wilson regardless, but
right.
if Davis is out, I think you could probably play Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
It says he's day-to-day right now.
Dan, you're with Old Jets.
Yeah.
Next up, Atlanta and Washington. Mariota's looked good in regards to points. He had another 18, 20-point game this week. You're getting good points out of him, and no Pitts anymore, which means I think Cordero's going to get a good bit of receiving work, and it's going to be Drake London. I don't know where else they're going to throw the ball.
They might not.
They may not. They may run it for 150 times. Fire up your Algier if you need him. I don't know. But I'm going Washington. What Washington's done is pretty well. I saw something the other day that was talking about Antonio Gibson, how he's not a workhorse back, but having Brian Robinson be the workhorse has allowed Gibson to come in and change of pace it, and he's having a great season because of that.
Very Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard-esque.
Yeah. And it's kind of annoying. But that's kind of how I see this league moving anyways. And we've started to see it with a lot of teams where they'll have, a change of pace back and a bruiser. And it's worked well. I think you can fire up Brian Robinson for the potential touchdowns here. Terry McLaurin still valuable. Curtis Samuel still valuable. I think both of them can get you those points, especially if Heineke's playing.
Oh, I'm like 99% sure I saw something that they name Heineke the starter regardless.
Perfect. And then I'd like to honorable mention Joey Sly. So the past 2 weeks with Heineke starting, he's had over 15 fantasy points both weeks. So
I like that because it's the Washington offense is better than what it was with Wentz, but it's still not great. And then Atlanta's defense isn't it's good enough to make stops. So I actually low key like that a lot.
Joey Sly. Yeah. But yeah, Washington.
Robinson only getting 3.3 yards per carry is fucking aggravating though.
Yeah.
Not all his fault.
Aggravating. The lane was really there.
Yeah. Not all his fault, but when you were seeing he was getting
8.
18, 20, 22 carries a game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Washington with you. I have more faith in the Washington defense than I do Atlanta.
Yeah. And I think the defense is kind of coming alive now, just a little bit. This is a defense that 2 years ago, before the season started, or last year before the season started, people were like, shit, it's a top defense. And we just hadn't had it. We hadn't seen it. You know, they got Sweat, Chase Young, St. Juice. They've got young talent throughout. So Holcomb is pretty good at linebacker. So it's a defense that's starting to mature a little bit.
I think the thing with that defense has always been the secondary.
Yeah.
And the secondary having to try and overcompensate when D-line injuries have happened. Because it's either been Chase Young or Daron Payne, or it's always been somebody on that line that's hurt.
Daniel, Washington?
Yeah, for sure.
Next one, the battle of backup running backs and mid-tier quarterbacks and washed away and traded quarterbacks. Denver versus Carolina. Not sure who's starting for Carolina. It could be Baker. Could be
Darnold.
I like Darnold. DJ Moore is completely wasted.
Darnold starting.
Yeah, Chuba's not getting much now because he's hit or miss. I'm probably not playing anyone on either of these teams. Maybe the Denver defense, but probably not either of these teams.
I think you could play Latavius Murray.
Lat.
And I think you could play Foreman if you had to.
I mean, if you absolutely have to.
I would put both of those guys as a flex, but definitely not anything higher than that.
Yeah.
I think Foreman just had a rough game last game. I think he could bounce back.
Well, we've seen him have two sub 5-point games in the last 3. But then he'll rally off a 20-point game after that, and you're like, shit, maybe he is good.
I'd rather start Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been more consistent than Foreman. Foreman seems, like you said, 2 performances of less than 5, or he's in the 20s or the high teens.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to deal with that variance.
Daniel, are you going to keep your streak of guessing the Panthers and them losing, or are you going to go?
Yes, I'm picking the Panthers in hopes that they lose.
Beautiful. Tank for Bijan, right?
No, well, not Bijan. Tank
You
for
want CJ Stroud, or you want Bryce Young?
quarterback.
Yeah.
Just
I'm going to wind up picking the quarterback, though, that's not good. Is it CJ Stroud or Bryce Young that's not good?
I would take Bryce Young.
I would too.
They'll probably pick Hendon Hooker, and
he's a freaking wizard.
Yeah, they'll take Hendon Hooker and blow him. It'll be great.
I'm going to take Denver, but I have no grounds as to why. I guess the better quarterback, the slightly better defense.
Yeah. We love Russ, but he's not cooking this year. You know, his sauce is gone. Ravens, Jaguars.
Ravens.
Pencil me in for a Jacksonville upset. Etienne, running back. Christian Kirk, arguably top 10 right now, wide receiver. I mean,
he's 9.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming off a 30-point game.
Guys, yeah, I got to go.
Okay.
Sorry, we got to leave a little early because of traffic.
You good, baby.
Y'all keep it up. Well, yeah. Ravens,
Yep.
Chargers, Seahawks, Chiefs, 49ers, Eagles, Colts.
Bang, 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 bang.
Mic drop.
For the rest of mine.
See you, bud.
Yeah. Catch
Yeah,
y'all.
tell Papa Pat just said good job.
All right,
Yeah.
Peace. Catch y'all later.
Yeah, right here. Pencil me in. Jaguars upset. I'll take it. Etienne, Christian Kirk, Trevor Lawrence. It's a powerful 3. Ravens, Lamar hasn't looked as explosive as he has recently. And fantasy wise, he's been kind of just a smidge below. I think he's in that like Dak Prescott, Lamar, Kyler Murray kind of tier where they're good and they could pop for 30 a week, but they've kind of just been in that 18 a week.
Yeah, Lamar was top 3 quarterback the first half of the first half of the season, and now the second half of the first half of the season, he's QB 13.
I was gonna say he's like 14 or 15, but yeah, I mean, it's sad. Part of it's how they're using them. I don't know.
Are you picking this because solely based on how both teams have looked recently?
Yeah, so I'm not just both teams. I just think this is where the Ravens start to kind of die off. I don't think they're a 7-3 team. And Jacksonville's played close games. They've played well. And I think as they progress, they're getting better. And I think the Ravens are just kind of,
I agree with you.
They don't have an identity. They used to be, hey, we're going to run it 40 times at you. Now they're trying to pass it, but they don't have good receivers. Mark's been hurt. Lamar hasn't really been scrambling as much as he used to. It's just not. I think they're 7-3. They're a good team. I just think that their identity's not there, and their defense isn't what it used to be. It's good. It's just not like insane.
It's a very flawed 7-3, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I'm going Jacksonville. I could be completely wrong about this one, but I'm going Jacksonville.
I mean, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with you on that.
Yeah.
For all the reasons you mentioned, I mean, they really only have Andrews. I thought Duvernay could have been somebody that came on and, he could create separation with his speed, but
he's had flashes, but he's had the opportunity to be the one and he hasn't made the most of it.
Right. And that's what I was trying. Yeah, I agree. That's what I was trying to get to. I mean, even Bateman, I think Bateman's a good number 2. I don't think he's a 1 yet.
He'll never be a 1, I don't think, unfortunately.
And then, I don't even – they have Kenyon Drake at running back. I mean, that's not good enough either.
No.
So, yeah.
You're not terrifying teams, When he's in there, you're not loaded to the box. So
if your primary weapon's the run game and your lead back is Kenyon Drake, great change of pace back.
Does J.K. Dobbins get healthy enough to come back this year? Maybe. I know he had surgery, but they said 4 to 6, and we're getting close to 4. So
right.
Keep an eye on J.K. If you can grab him and throw him on an IR spot, he could be helpful. This is a team that's going to be in the playoff hunt up to week 14. So they're going to be playing their players weeks 15, 16, 17. So, keep an eye on JK. If you can get the running back for this team when they get JK back, could be valuable. But yeah, I'm with you. Speaking of 2 struggling teams, Cardinals and Chargers, both of these teams we had essentially as preseason playoff teams. Especially Cardinals getting DeAndre Hopkins back. You would think they'd rattle him off. Kyler not playing has hurt them. Chargers have looked kind of abysmal. You're talking about supposedly a top 3 young quarterback. Supposedly Keenan Allen's a top 10 wide receiver. Mike Williams wants to be considered a top 10. And Eckler's a top 3 running back. And yet this offense is just stagnant every week.
I think it's different circumstances, to be honest with you. And I'm not trying to make excuses for the Chargers, but the people that they have had hurt and how frequently and how many people.
That's true.
That's hard to overcome. I even with Kyler Murray, the Cardinals just never seem to look good this year.
Yeah.
Maybe a game or 2, but
Josh Palmer played great last week. He had 30-something fantasy points.
Yeah, no Everett, no Mike Will. It was just him and Keenan.
Yeah. Keenan, if you guys follow our rule, don't play a player of the week or as soon as they come back from injury, would have saved you from Mike Williams. Would have saved you from a 4-point Keenan performance. So, again, now I would fire up Keenan Mike Williams will probably get cleared. I would not play him. Yeah, and then no Everett. You know, they didn't do much with Matiti.
They're not. Mike Will got a high ankle sprain, so he's not playing. I think
Did you just
Everett.
re-aggravate the high ankle sprain though?
What?
It was just re-aggravation of the prior one, right?
I thought they put him on IR, bro.
Did they IR him again? No. He's just out.
Let me see.
Let's see.
Okay, I got you.
So it says re-aggravated the high ankle sprain. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, my fault.
And
and then Everett's is
significant. Week 12's up in the air, but you're not playing him. You've made it 6 weeks without him, so just hold off. Wait until the playoffs. Wait until he has a couple good performances before you rush him into your lineup. Cardinal-wise, I'm throwing DeAndre Hopkins all day. No Eno Benjamin means James Conner is pretty much an RB2 for the rest of the season, just on volume. Keontae Ingram didn't bleed into it much. I was really hoping Trey McBride would do more, especially with Ertz hurt. He didn't. And he might keep an eye on him, but
for me, it's only Connor and Hopkins.
yeah,
and it's Connor. It's Connor for sure because the Chargers are dead last in yards per carry.
Connor up. Connor.
And then as far as my stance on the Chargers, it's very conditional. So like Keenan, no matter what, but Palmer, if Williams and Everett are both out, they both have to be out, not just one.
Palmer has some potential. Yeah, agreed 100%. And I like your reasoning.
I think you could take a chance if Everett is out, but I think you could take a chance if it's just Williams and Everett's in, but I probably wouldn't because Everett gets a decent target share, and then you have Eckler, and then you have Allen.
Yeah.
So that's why I said both.
Yep. I'm with you.
I'm picking the Chargers, though.
I also am picking Chargers. Seattle versus the Raiders. Geez. I mean, who would have thought not having fucking Hunter Renfrow would hurt the Raiders as much? Darren Waller's gone too. RIP. It's Devontae and Josh Jacobs. And that's it. So fire those two up. You could throw Carr if you have a Fields and you need a replacement. On the other side, I love what Seattle's got. Lockett, Geno. You could throw either of their tight ends possibly. You're going to easily throw DK out there. And Ken Walker, Rookie of the Year right now. So have at it. If you're Seattle, have at it. And I'm a big Geno fan. And I think we were both on agreements when we did our preseason thing that Geno would come in and win some games. But we didn't think it would be this good.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought it would be this good, but
he's quarterback 8. So
I'm actually looking forward to watching this game. I think the Raiders have been playing at least a little bit better here recently, and I think that it can make for a fun game.
It should be a good game. I do think this will be one of the more enjoyable offensive games this year.
Yeah, I think Carr's a good streaming option this week too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't consider Geno a streaming. I mean, he's on your roster and he's been playing, so
yeah.
I don't really put him in that same category. But Seahawks had a bye, correct? They're coming off a bye.
Yeah, they're coming off a bye.
Yeah, I mean, not that that's like the main reason why I'm picking the Seahawks, but I'm going with the Seahawks. I'm sure you are too.
Yes. Seahawks.
I'm probably going to stay away from their tight ends, though, just because you don't really know which one it's going to be. They do throw to the tight end spot a lot. It makes me wish that they just had one tight end.
Yeah, like if they only had Noah Fant instead of Will Dissly and Fant.
Mm-hmm. Or just Dissly. I mean, either one of them are fine.
They're both doable. Kansas City and the Rams. Rams season's over, right?
In that division, unfortunately.
Well, not only that, but they just lost their best guy. Cooper Cup's gone. We thought it was going to be Van Jefferson, and it looked like it was Van Jefferson, but not really.
Robinson had a decent game. I think he had 14.
Yeah. Also thought maybe Skoranek, but who knows, man?
I don't blame you for thinking Skoranek. I think, if you took a chance, it was a well-informed decision to pick him up. Stafford got a concussion, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, because I saw the spread was like 14.5.
Yep.
And that, I feel like it wouldn't be as big if Stafford was playing, but it's obviously probably still going to be over a touchdown.
Probably, yeah. I would say, yeah.
This is easy. For me, it's the Chiefs. Your boy Pacheco did pretty well. I wish he was more involved in the receiving game, but
he cracked 100 first time this season. That's absolutely massive, honestly.
On only 15 carries.
Yeah, and that's sorry. Why am I so far away? And that's been his thing, God dang, where keeps picking up the fan. That's the thing, right? Pacheco's been pretty consistent with his runs. Now he got a full workload, and 100 yards. We're happy as Pacheco owners.
Their playoff schedule is very good too.
Yes. So
from a fantasy football perspective,
if he can maintain that, then you're looking pretty good.
And you're looking at some positive touchdown regression too, because he hasn't really done that yet.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's only up from here if he keeps the efficiency up.
Dude, give me 2 or 3 touchdowns going forward, and Pacheco's got some potential.
He's like Cordero too, because he returns.
He does do the return work, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you know if it's punts, kicks, or both?
I believe it was Nicole Hardman, but Nicole just got hurt.
I thought he had been doing one of them all year.
I believe he had done a few punts.
Okay.
I think he and McCole had split that, but now it's basically McCole. Or basically Pacheco, because there is no more McCole.
Right.
So.
Sky Moore looked decent.
Yeah.
To me, it just depends on who's out and who's not for the Chiefs.
Is MVS in or out?
Juju's still questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Valdez-Scantling says that he doesn't have an injury designation.
Okay, good.
We know Tony was super disappointing because everyone in the community thought that he was going to do well, considering Juju and Mecole.
Tony was about to explode.
But he hurt his hamstring.
Yeah, I send him. His season's probably wrapped up.
So who is it for you? I would assume Pacheco.
I think MVS has the potential this week.
McKinnon in deeper leagues, I feel like, like 12 or 14 team.
Yeah.
He didn't have a great game on Sunday, but his receptions usually provide safety.
Yeah, I don't mind him. There's a couple other guys where I'm like, yeah, they've got the potential to. I don't know if I'm starting McKinnon, actually. I think there's some other guys that I'd rather have over McKinnon.
Oh, yeah, it would have to be in, like, deep stuff.
It'd have to be a 16-teamer. Because you're only starting them at flex. And I think wide receiver, you can get better value.
Especially this week. It's a good receiver week.
Hell yeah.
So Kelsey, Pacheco, Scantling.
So, okay, question. Knowing now what we know now, should Kelsey have been a top 3 pick?
I'm still gonna go with no.
If you say no, I would like to ask you why.
Because I would have taken Jefferson, Henry.
What if I tell you that Kelsey's averaging more points than Justin Jefferson at a position that is a lot more limited than Justin Jefferson's position? Kelsey is currently, I want to say, fantasy football's number 2 player. I'll have to double check it.
Yeah, Andrews being hurt doesn't help either.
He is currently the number 8 fantasy player. My apologies. With 22.3 points per game. And I believe everyone above him are quarterbacks. I'll have to let you know.
Yeah, I don't. That's top 3 is still tough for me. Because if we knew what we knew now, I mean, you have people in the same area like Eckler, Barkley, Henry.
Okay. The only players averaging more than Kelsey: Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. Then you have Eckler and Diggs, Burrow, Cooper Kupp, and then it's Kelsey. And Cooper Kupp only averages 0.02 more. And Diggs only averages 0.4 more. And Eckler only averages 0.7 more. I think the value per position, so value over replacement, right, that you're getting out of Kelsey is stupid. He's averaging 12 more than Mark Andrews, 14 more than Goddard, 14 more than Kittle, 14 more than Hawkinson. You're almost getting an entire player position. You know, I mean, what do you want out of anybody, right? Out of a starting player, 15 points. You're getting that much of a gap by having Kelsey over the closest replacement. I think there's the argument he should have been picked number 1.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good argument.
But yeah, that's just my take.
So, I mean, you never draft inside the top 3 anyway, but
Neither do you.
I was gonna say, like,
When was the last time either of you had a top 3 pick? You know, I mean,
I don't know.
We just don't get it. You and I just don't get those picks. You know. Actually, I did have a top 3 pick in RSO in the rookie pick.
Well, that was a trade, wasn't it?
That was my original. I was bad last year, remember?
Oh, yeah. I mean.
But your boy has exploded this year, and he looks like he's going to be last 4. I just think harder to keep losing because I own his pick, and he keeps winning random-ass games, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to win these random-ass games. I don't know why I'm packing shorts, dude. It's cold as shit where you are, right?
I think it's like 50s.
Fuck! I'm not ready for that.
It's 63 right now.
Okay, I can do 62.
But it's been colder than that recently.
Keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's hard for me to say whether I would do it because I mean, I don't pick in the top 3. I don't think like the people that usually pick in the top 3 for the most part are usually more casual fantasy football players.
And they're going to go running back.
They would just do what the trend is and take running back and wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I don't even think most people would consider doing that.
Something like that. All right, hit me up. San Fran versus who do they verse?
Um,
The New Orleans Saints. We need some Alvin Kamara love. We need some Chris Olave love. I think Taysom Hill still top 10 tight end. Yeah. That's about it on that team. San Fran. It's actually nice to see Elijah Mitchell getting a lot of touches, you know? Like the usage is there for Eli.
yeah, it's there. I mean, he's always been pretty efficient. It's just if he could get the touches with McCaffrey being on the squad too.
Yeah, but I mean, he's getting some. Oh. You leaving San Fran?
Yeah. I mean, I just think they're the better team.
Well, yeah, for sure.
It's in San Fran.
No. Okay. Yeah, no, I think they're the better team for sure.
I mean, I don't think I would start Jawan Johnson this week because Fred Warner's so good.
Yeah. The question is, who's better, Ayuk or Debo? Because the first year those two were on the same team, it was Ayuk. The second year, it was Debo. Now,
I mean, I think Ayuk. I think I would rather have Ayuk because like you could get him for cheaper, like when you were drafting.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. He faces the less talented cornerback.
yeah, always. He's not getting double team.
But Debo, I mean, he's still taking snaps in the backfield too. So I mean,
with
he's getting carries.
Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel is still getting carries. That just tells you how much they love him rushing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I think my answer would be Ayuk just because you could have gotten him for cheaper, draft wise.
Agreed.
But yeah, Kamara and Olave. I mean, this is a tough matchup, so we'll see what happens. I'm kind of pumping the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we got, but we're both going Niners, right?
Yeah. Niner game.
Eagles and Packers are next, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going.
You want Eagles?
Yeah, I think if it was in Green Bay, I would actually probably pick the upset, but I'll go Philly here.
I don't think this is a bad Packers team. They still have Rodgers, but I'm gonna go Philly.
Their rush defense is just so bad.
Yeah.
AJ Brown versus Jair. I love Jair, but he's been struggling a little bit. So Goddard's still out. I would go AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Miles Sanders, Hurts. I'm not sure about Gainwell. Probably not this week.
No,
Probably not.
I got you there.
And then the Packers. Aaron Jones, no AJ Dillon. I feel like you have to fire up Watson based on his past two games.
Past performance, yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna say no on Tunyon. Yeah, so just Watson and Jones for me.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. Eagles, pretty much everybody but Gainwell because he got me 0 last week. Kind of mad about that.
Oh, damn, I'm sorry.
Dude, like what? He's at least gotten like a catch or a carry every game, and then the one game I use him because everybody else is hurt. Fat goose egg. Okay, though. Last one, Colts Steelers.
Is this the Monday night game?
Yeah.
Why is it the Monday night game?
Because at the beginning of the season, it looked like it would be fun. I don't know, dude.
Trash.
Trash.
I'll go with the Colts.
Okay. I also want to go with the Colts. I like the Jeff Saturday experience.
Shoot, he was one.
Yeah.
He only lost to the quote unquote best team in the league by 1 point.
He should have won that game. I picked them to win last week. I was so excited, but unfortunately not. I was kind of sad, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm not crying. You're crying. Yeah.
I really like Paris Campbell's been doing really well. I had him in that 32 team RSO. I've been keeping up with him even after trading him. He's done really well, and Pittsburgh's pass defense is not good. So,
right.
I think it's him and the Steelers' rush defense is pretty good, but obviously you still got to go with Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go Taylor and Campbell from the Colts, and then from the Steelers, little Freiermuth action.
Muth. I think Najee's got some potential as well. He had a great game. His schedule looks great going forward. So keep an eye out on Muth, yeah?
Yeah, and Pickens and Johnson, or just one of them?
Probably both are playable. I'm not mad about either, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I would think Deontay would draw Gilmore. But they have two good corners. Kenny Moore's a good corner too.
Yeah, Kenny Moore. He's actually a really good corner.
It's crazy to say, but I might favor Pickens just because of the touchdown upside.
Just give me Muth and only Muth.
But
yeah.
I think that's our last game.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Bo. Well, I will hit you up a little bit later.
Yeah, I don't even know what to do about the lines. I haven't picked 5, so.
What you thinking?
Shoot, you're gonna put me on the spot and do it right now? Huh?
Yes, I am.
Let me do Vikings -2.5.
Okay.
I don't think Fields is gonna play, so give me Jets -4.5.
Yeah,
Give me the
I think that's a
Titans.
good one.
Give me Titans +1.5. Jaguars +4, and then Chargers -4.5.
I think those are all good ones.
And let's have the lock be, since we agreed on it, let's go Jags.
Okay. Jags. It's a good lock. That's a good lock. Just Jags covering, right? Not straight up.
Yeah, just covering.
Okay.
So Vikings, Titans, Jets, Jags, and Chargers.
Yeah.
It's been real, as
All right,
always.
baby. Catch you next time.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon, bud.
All right, buddy.
See ya.